Roger that. Roger that. You were just kind of firing up the stuff to check out a couple of things. We do a QSO-VLOG net on Friday afternoons between 3:30 and 5 on this frequency, and we've got a couple of play toys we're trying to get set up for the net. We video it and then post it up on YouTube after that. Roger?
Yeah, roger. So when does your net come around, over?
It's on Friday afternoons between 3:30 and 5 on this frequency, 7188. Roger?
Yeah, roger. I'll make a note of it and see if I can get into it, over.
Roger. Primarily, we do transmitter setups for folks, usually converting their unprocessed 10 dB dynamic range average peak modulation 30% transmitters and kind of boost them up a little bit to a 3 dB dynamic range and an average 80 to 85% peak modulation. Roger. George, I kind of lost you there. I usually run with 4 internet SDRs. Like I say, right now we're just kind of testing, but let me bring up Milford and see what's going on there. Well, Milford is not wanting to come up, so much for Milford. Let's, you're in Virginia. I don't. This is embarrassing. I usually have 4 internet SDR receivers. I only got 3, and the one that I need at Arlington, Virginia, is I use that one for my personal stuff between Fridays, and so it's in the bedroom. So, boy, it sounds like a sad tale of woe. But I have Alexandria, Virginia. Maybe I can bring that one up. That would be somewhat ballpark to where we're going here. This should not be too long. Okay. Audio check on Arlington. Let me come back to me and give me about 10 seconds to tell me about your antenna system, and I'll see how Arlington's working out today. Roger?
Yeah, roger. Well, like I said, it's about a 100-foot long wire end-fed antenna in the slope configuration, and I have a 8-foot copper rod drove in the ground with counterpoise, and I usually get pretty good reports on 40, over.
Yes, sir. You're giving Arlington, Virginia 10 over their noise level, so that's a good signal. And I've got you a little bit, but I've got some QRM to deal with. On our local receiver, we run a dipole-tuned, resonant-tuned dipole antenna plus 3 10-foot vertical magnetic loops plus a vertical, and they're all on a rotary selector, and I can run through those pretty quick. So I'm not copying you real well on my location, but you're doing real well in Arlington, Virginia. Roger.
Arlington, Virginia. Roger.
Yeah, roger. Yeah, I usually get better reports going kind of antennas oriented in such a way that I can get better reports that way, east and west.
Yeah, roger that. I just went to my local antenna system again, and you were coming in on my 0 direction 10-foot vertical mag, but there's a lot of QRM on that was about equal to your signal, adjacent channel QRM stuff. So Arlington seems to be in the clear right now, fairly. Roger?
Roger. Yeah, Arlington's it's northern part of Virginia, and I'm down near North Carolina. So, yeah, like I said, I usually get better reports from stations north and south than I do east and west. So, I heard you calling CQ. I thought I'd answer, over.
Roger, George, I appreciate that, sir. Yeah, you would have a good signal, except for the adjacent channel stuff coming in. You know, like I say, I have three vertical magnetic loop antennas. One's at 0 degrees, one's at 90 degrees, and one's at 134 degrees. And the one that you are hot on is the 0 degrees. And unfortunately, the co-channel, adjacent channel stuff is coming from that direction, Roger.
Stuff is coming from that direction, Roger.
Yeah, Roger, Roger. Well, your signal's increased to about a 5 by 9, a little over right now, so you're coming in pretty strong here.
Roger, Roger. Well, I'm, you know, you see those mice on those pedals? I'm pedaling as hard as I can, Roger, trying to get that power up.
And Roger, trying to get that power up.
I got a lot of old equipment. Well, not a lot of old equipment. My backup radio is old Kenwood TS140. It's still a 100-watt rig, and I use it occasionally. Over.
Roger, what you running right now?
Roger, what you running right now?
Right now I'm on an ICOM 706 Mark II. Over.
Roger, sounds good. Sounds good. It is on dead on frequency, Roger.
It is on dead on frequency, Roger.
Yeah, Roger, Roger. I don't know, about, 6 months ago I had it lined up and adjusted and whatnot. It's just decent, I guess, for 100 watts, over.
Oh, Roger, Roger. Yeah, the you know, there's so much stuff happening on the band as far as different signals and stuff that you know, it really is hard pressed for a transmitter, even running you know, 100 watts to have a pretty good journey because of all the diversions happening all over the band, Roger.
Roger, yeah, I'm starting to pick up some other stations on the frequency right now, so get the band starting to change.
Roger, kind of lost you there at the end, George, but gosh, I appreciate the comeback, sir. Like I say, we are testing some of our stuff. We just put in a RF Region Detector. It's a map of the U.S. And it's broken out into ham call sign regions, and we have LED lights denoting the different regions, and have a selector switch that we can roll over to whatever the call sign number is, and it sits there and kind of blinks, and it's a matter of just getting the lighting as best we could on it, Roger.
As best we could on it, Roger.
Yeah, Roger on that. Yeah, I try to keep up with what's going around in the ham world, but being disabled, vet, retired, I really can't do a lot of things on my own as far as putting up any new antennas and everything. So I just kind of stick with my wire. Well, I'll let you go, and appreciate the conversations, and hope you and your family stay safe and all this COVID stuff going around. So we'll say 73s and be clear on your final. So KC9, Victor, Kilo, Victor. This kilowatt November 4, Juliet, Echo, Echo. Gonna be clear upon your final.
Roger, George. FYI, we have been recording. That's one of the things we do on our net, is record and then post it up on YouTube. So we have been recording, and if you would like to hear your radio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, along with today's date 10/25/21, that will take you to this recording. And probably maybe have some other call signs on that, but your call sign should be on the title, Roger.
Be on the title, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. I'll give it a try and see what it's going. I appreciate it.
Roger, Roger, George. Okay, and it'll, we'll probably get it uploaded later this afternoon. So 73, you have a real good day. Thanks for the comeback. And this is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor listening.
9, Victor Kilo Victor listening.
Yeah, Roger, Roger, 73.
This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, calling CQ. CQ, CQ, CQ. Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, calling CQ and listening.
Victor calling CQ and listening. Kilo Victor 9, Charlie Victor, this is KI8A. You copy?
Station saying copy. I copy. Come back slowly with your call sign.
Copy, come back slowly with your call sign. Sure, it's Kilowatt India 8 Alpha, KI8A.
Copy that is Kilowatt India 8 Alpha, Roger.
It is Kilowatt India 8 Alpha, Roger.
I'm assuming that's a Roger. Name here is Jim, Juliet India Mike. The call is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor. And we're located in Indiana, just across the Ohio River from Louisville, Kentucky. Roger.
River from Louisville, Kentucky, Roger. Very good, Jim. KC9VKV. This is KI8A, and your name is Rod, Roger Ocean Dog. And I'm about, I'm in Michigan, northwest of Detroit. So, miserable rainy day here today. How about yourself?
Yes, sir, Ron. I just went to my local antenna. I was monitoring Milford SDR. You were about 10 over there. I just went to my local antenna. You were about 20 over here, so much better on the local antenna. And that radio, boy, that audio is something else, man. It's, we do transmitter tune-ups on our net, QSO-VLOG net, on Friday afternoons on this frequency. And gosh, I'd love to have you check in and we'll do a little work on your radio there. I mean, it's beautiful, fully modulated. But come back and tell me about your antenna system there for about 10 seconds or so.
Yeah, okay, Jim. Yeah, my antenna is an off-center fed dipole. With the center of it up about 35 feet and the ends about 20 feet off the ground. And I'm running an ICOM 7300, and with an Elecraft amplifier, I have it kind of loafing along right now at about 450 watts. And that's about it. Nothing fancy. Go ahead.
Roger, Ron. Your dynamic range looks to be about a dB and a half. And it's fairly up against the wall. You sound like you might be a little hot into your ALC. We usually suggest mid-range to 2/3 on the ALC level by way of a mic gain level adjustment, and that gives you about a 3 dB dynamic range. It's really loud, but not blurry. You know what I mean?
Okay, I just cranked it down a little bit. Is this any better?
It's coming. You're still about 2.5. It could come down just a little bit more. It sounds really up against the wall.
Okay, I dropped another 5%. How about that?
Yes, sir. That's looking really nice now. It's starting to have a little bit of life in the... I'm looking at your signal on a VU meter, and I can tell by the VU meter's actions as to what's happening. The fatter it gets, the less movement the meter exhibits as opposed to just right at zero level, And so a little bit of swing really helps. And it helps in... perception of words too. If the words are blurry or are strung out there really pushed, then it's in a pileup. It becomes more difficult to copy than if those words were nice and clear. Roger.
Oh yeah, I get that. I dropped it another 5%. How about right now?
Yes, sir. Looking better now. Your EQ is set for contest. I mean, there's a very little bottom end there. Is that normally what you do with that?
I don't really do anything with this. I just plug it in and hit the reset button. I've never actually tweak this thing up for audio. I typically operate FT8 or FT4 and very, very little voice.
Ah, Roger, Roger. Well, the whole thing about ham radio is you usually have to consider that you're going to be involved in a less than pristine situation as far as communications. There are always challenges to get from here to there. Some are man-made, some are mother-made, but there's always something that's lurking there to detract from your signal. So the better you can get that signal going in the first place, the better chance you have of getting to the other side in a readable situation, Roger.
Yep, I hear you on that. Yeah, well, I'm about ready to, not ready today, but in the next week or two, I'm going to modify my antenna. Right now it's about 134 feet long, and I'm going to take it out to 260, 260, give or take, feet, basically increase the ends, because I want to operate some 160. But the crazy thing is, this antenna, even though it's cut for 80 through 6, it does operate on 160, and I've been able to hold 1 and 2 hour QSOs on there, no problem whatsoever with people in Pennsylvania or wherever. And so I can't imagine what it's going to be like when I take it up to a resonant length. Go ahead.
Roger that. Now, the neat thing about antennas is if you have an antenna to compare an antenna with. In other words, AB, so you're going in the right direction. Like, unfortunately, I never take down an antenna once I put it up, because I just want to be sure that I'm headed in the right direction, So I ABC compare the new with the old, just to verify that the new is better than the old, Roger.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you. And by the way, your signal here is really, really good. You're at least 10 over, sometimes pushing 20 over. And so you got a good punchy signal, and the audio sounds terrific.
Thank you so much. And whereabouts are you located, sir?
Yeah, it's a little town called Howell, Michigan, Howell. It's about 50 miles northwest of Detroit. It's kind of between Detroit and the capital of Lansing. Go ahead.
Roger. Now, and I'm assuming that you put a desk mic on that 7300, Roger?
No, negative. I have a D104 with a dynamic head and the big lollipop head, but I don't even have it hooked up here. I'm just operating the standard mic that came with the 7300.
Yes, sir. Well, that standard microphone is just perfect. I mean, it's just ideal. You have to work it, at the corner of your mouth. You can't work directly into it. You have to pull it to the corner of your mouth and actually touch the corner of your mouth and talk across it to get rid of any plosives. But once you do that, that microphone is Katie bar the door. You'll probably have to spend $250 to, or at least to duplicate or try to duplicate that mic, Roger.
Oh, well, it's good. I just now I'm talking across it as opposed to into it. So I don't know if that helped a little bit on your end or not. But I've had no intentions, because I see guys spending a lot of money on Hiles and different things like that, and I don't operate enough sideband or voice to warrant spending any more money on that kind of stuff. I operate a lot of DMR and DSAR, and one thing I do enjoy, and I have operated 6 meters a lot too. In fact, this year, I've been an AM since 1957, and this year is my first year of ever operating, not operating, but being able to do almost a dozen countries in Europe and places like that on 6 meters. That kind of blew me away. It just was one of those rare days of opening that had a fantastic tunnel into Russia and the Middle East and Portugal and Spain and France and Germany, and it was unbelievable. Go ahead.
Roger, Ron. Now, gosh, we have a little studio here for our QSO-VLOG net on Friday afternoons, and I've been checking out. We just put in what we call the RF Region Detector, which is a map of the USA, and it is broken out into call sign regions and LED flashing LEDs for each region. And we just finished with George, who is in Foreland, and I just now switched to 8land. So anyway, if you would like to hear your audio, we have been recording in our test, and we're going to post this up on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, that's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, along with today's date, 10/25/21, it will take you directly to this recording, and we'll probably be posting it in the next couple of hours or so. Roger?
Oh, great. I will look for that. Thank you. And, yeah, definitely. Sounds like you guys are pretty active. And where in Indiana? You said you're down by the Ohio River. What was the name of the town?
It's New Albany, Indiana. It's just across the river from Louisville, Kentucky, home of fast women and beautiful horses.
Okay, yeah, I like that. At any rate, on one of my trips down to Texas, normally I fly, but occasionally we would drive, and my wife and I would always take 2-lane roads coming back, and we came in through southern Indiana, and we stumbled upon a place called Minrad, Indiana, and ended up founding an Arch Abbey there. We're Catholic, so it was of interest to us. So I just remember how beautiful that was, right out in the middle of nowhere. Wasn't too far probably from where you live. Go ahead.
Roger. Well, we're right down on the river, close enough I can see downtown Louisville from my rooftop. So we're that close, Roger.
Oh, yeah, yep. I know exactly the area where you're at. Very nice. So how's your weather down there today?
Well, it's been a little rainy, for the past couple of days, a little moist, and hopefully, all the plants need it, but I can use a little bit less of it right now, Roger.
Oh, I hear you. Well, we just had our first frost Sunday morning. It got down, actually it was, I guess you classify it as a hard freeze. It got down to about 31 degrees, and or 30 degrees, I guess. So but it's really late in the season for us. Normally we've had frost, sometimes as early as late September. And so this has been a very, very pleasant October, but it's like a light switch. It just seems like almost 10 days ago we're running the air conditioner, and now we're running the heat.
Roger. Well, I've been telling the wife, we've been having a little heater anomalies, shall I say, and I know what it is. I know what I got to do to fix it, but I'm saying, wife, if you call somebody to fix that, it's going to cost you $500, and I'll do it for $400. I'm still trying to navigate a 7300, Roger.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, I like the 7300. It's a nice radio. I also have two now, ICOM 7100s, which I absolutely love. They're kind of my Swiss Army radio because they do so many things. But I don't use them on HF that much, except for some D-Star HF, which I've done. My 7300 is actually a better radio, period, on HF, but the 7100 has more versatility. So I wish they made a 7300 with the versatility of the 7100. Go ahead.
Roger, you're on the 7300 now, though, Roger.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking to you on now. The 7100 is on VHF and UHF at the moment. And I do like that quirky little interface that they have for the 7100. And they did one thing on that radio that they didn't do on the 7300 that kind of is a little minor nit to me, is the fact that all the keys on the 7100 are backlit, and they didn't do that on the 7100. So if I'm turning the lights down low in my shack, I have to use a flashlight or turn on an external light to see the buttons on the front of my 7300. But I shouldn't complain too much about that because the majority of it, I run it through Ham Radio Deluxe, so I usually have it up on my screen. So, but if I want to run the radio naked, I just wish it had backlit keys. That's the only thing I can find wrong with it. Go ahead.
Roger. And I'm assuming those are LED backlit jobbers, so the life expectancy is a long time. It used to be, the lighting in radios was marginal for expected life existence. You know, the 6-volt lamps and all that stuff in the old Drakes, you know, probably about a couple of years max. But with these LED backlights, you know, you're talking maybe 20 years.
Oh, yeah, at least sometimes even 50 years. I mean, they're not 2,500-hour type devices or whatever. But, you know, the good news is on the old radios, if a bulb did burn out, it wasn't a major job, for the most part, well, except for some radios, to change the bulb. But these new radios, if you look inside of them, oh my gosh, you need an electron microscope to see all the stuff in there.
Roger, Roger. Well, I have looked in, and all I see is I see printed circuit tracks with little bumps in them. You know, not anything I recognize, just little bumps along the way. You know, and I'm assuming those are components, but I don't know. They're just bumps to me.
Yeah, I hear you. And it's as you get older, you know, like in my case, my eyesight's not all that wonderful, and so you know, it's harder to see some of this tiny stuff and these little bitty things on there. Yeah, I just pulled up your QRZ page and see you were in broadcasting.
Roger, yeah, we spent 50 years in commercial radio, all of them on AM stations. Roger, Roger.
Ah, very good. So yeah, that's why you're like good audio quality, because you've worked in AM radio where they tried to tweak the audio and make it as best as they can. So were you in the actual broadcasting or in the maintenance of transmitters or what?
We were in programming, mainly in production, with some on-air stuff on the weekends. Nothing technically, but did spend a lot of time with the engineers and well, I was with WHAS, my last commercial job, as production director for WHAS from 1970 to 79, and they had this beautiful basement where all the engineers congregated and all the tools and stuff were down there, and I managed to schmooze my way into that and could use all of the bench brakes and drill presses and all that kind of stuff. It was really, really nice.
Very, very good. This is KI8A for ID. Yeah, one of the things that you know, of course, everybody likes to go to the Dayton Convention, and of course, we haven't had it the last couple of years, but one of my favorite things I always do when I go there is I would go to the Air Force Museum after I go to the Dayton Convention, but what I want to do is change that. I want to go to that Voice of America Museum down there south of Dayton before it totally goes away, what's left of it, but I understand that's quite an impressive site. I don't know if you've ever been there. Go ahead.
I've talked to those guys a couple of times. There's a ham operation, I believe, in that VOA operation that, you know, they are not using, those towers have been taken down, but they're on the grounds of the VOA, I believe.
Yeah, I believe there is too. And in fact, I was talking to a guy in Pennsylvania, Chris, I can't remember his call right off the top of my head. But he was very much aware of all those guys, and he knows those guys. He's been there several times himself, and he was telling me about it. He says that, you know, you got to get there. He says they've sold some more of the land for development, so he says you want to get there before even more goes away. He says there's still a lot of leftover stuff to see, and it's kind of fun to go to. So that's something on my bucket list to do.
Roger. Well, them guys, they don't kid around with power. They're running 150 kWs all the time, Roger.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about some serious power. I don't think anything was as ridiculous as that old Russian woodpecker, though. I mean, they needed a nuclear power station called Chernobyl to power it.
Roger. A lot of those Russian transmitters, they didn't use AM modulation. They did FM right at the oscillator. And what would happen, you know, they didn't have modulators or anything else, just RF and frequency modulate the RF. And, you know, if you're receiving a signal, AM signal, and here comes this ton of signal right there, and it's frequency modulated, you know, at the center point of like 1 kc, says going to 1 to 1.5 or something. It just makes a mess of the audio. But after the Cold War came religion, and all of our preachers wanted to get to that region, and they wanted those transmitters. So those Russians did double time trying to get modulators built into the to all those power amps to be able to sell time. Roger.
Oh, I'll be darned. I wasn't aware of that. You know, one thing I've noticed about the Russian ham stations, you know, working FT8, your signal strength is measured by software and in combination with the radio, so you can't tell fish stories and say you got something bigger than what you've got. And one thing I've noticed, even when there's a Russian station calling CQ, and they may have a weak signal, which typically you wouldn't go after somebody with a weak signal because they're harder to get, they doggone hear you. And I mean, you transmit back to them, and they come back to you. And I mean, they may be coming back with a -18 or -20, but boy, they seem like they got ears that are super sensitive. And whereas some of the other countries, some of these guys call CQ, and you call them back, and you know they might have the strongest signal in the world, but they're deaf when it comes to hearing.
Roger. Well, you know, the I guess the Russian commercial, quote-unquote, operations would use things that they could, like curtain antennas that they could move around, and then they would use pings, transmit, and then go to receive for the feedback, and they could tell when they were hitting land by the level of feedback that they were getting, so they could maneuver these curtains to advantageous feed points as far as hitting whatever they're looking for.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, they have a different philosophy of doing things. And by the way, how much power are you running, if I may ask?
We're running just at a KW, Roger.
That's just good. This KW is doing great, man. You just, it's like, you know, you're sitting right here. It's really, really nice copy.
Roger, thank you so much. Yes, a SB220, been, let me knock on some wood, just great for the last 5 years, Roger.
Oh, yeah. Those SB220s are bulletproof. The nice amplifiers. I had a Hammerlin HL1. Very similar to the 220, but never made. And I just recently sold it. I went to the Elecraft amplifiers. Solid state, and so when I change bands, I don't. In fact, I never even look at the amplifier. I just turn it on and put it in the transmit mode. That's the only two things I do at the beginning of a day, and the rest of it's all automatic, so I don't have to tune it up. I don't have to press any buttons on it to do anything. It all tracks with the radio, and I'm really spoiled now. Go ahead.
Oh, Roger, that must be really nice. I mean, things blow up now. You can't blame yourself. It's not operator error, Roger.
Oh, that's for doggone sure. And the other nice thing about it, if it it's capable of 750 watts, but I typically run it around 400 to 450, you know, keep it kind of conservative. And, you know, it's just, I don't believe in running any radio at its maximum power. Even my Hammerlin, I was 1.5 kW. I used to run that at a lot less, just to, you know, to keep it happy, and it lasted. You know, you don't burn them up that way.
That's a Roger. Well, I just, you know, just tune it max out on this SB220, about 100 watts drive, and into a resonant no SWR antenna, and it just, you know, does beautiful, Roger.
Oh yeah, it's done a nice job. I mean, anything with tubes in them has just got a good, generally clean audio. Yeah, right now I'm driving my amplifier with about 24 watts. I just looked at it, so that's one thing nice about the Elecraft. It don't take a lot of drive to make it work. So, and what am I peaking at? I'm peaking at 450 watts, and with 24 watts of drive. So that's a nice bump.
Yeah, Roger. And you're hitting me at 10 over my noise level. So I've got your audio set for 0 level on the VU meter, and when you see speaking, there's noise that's left, and that noise level is at -10. So you're 10 over my noise level, Roger.
Well, that's good news. That's good news. That's good. So it's nice to be able to have a QSO without straining your ears. And the same thing here. Now my noise level is very low here today. I probably have an S2 to S3 noise level. And by the way, this is like I said, an off-center fed dipole, and it's got a balun design 4-to-1 balun in it, voltage balun. And then it has a 1-to-1 current balun that's also built into it underneath that to keep the RF off of the feed line. So I have 0 RF in the shack, and which is nice. And even when I'm running high power, I don't have any issues. And I really like those Palomar and balun design baluns that they make. They seem to do a real good job. Go ahead.
Roger. Well, we just run straight from the amp to the dipole, and we've, like I say, tuned that dipole. We mainly run this frequency, so it is tuned for this frequency, and I guess our SWR is somewhere around 0.05, Roger.
Oh, you can't beat that. Yeah, my SWR on this frequency, I'd have to look at my chart. I ran my analyzer on it, but I'm probably about 2-to-1 without the tuner. But I have a KAT 500 Elecraft tuner in line too, so it just polishes it up. And I know you lose efficiency if you're not 1-to-1, but it'll tune at least 10-to-1, no problem if you have to. But like I said, even on 160 meters, which the antenna is not even cut for, the tuner will tune it. It just makes the radio happy, of course, but it's still not super efficient at that point. But surprisingly, I've done well on 160 with the wrong antenna.
Roger. Well, right now you're just beautiful signal, haven't faded at all, just very consistent, Roger.
Well, same here. You're doing beautiful too, and I've been watching the S meter, and you're as strong as you were when you first came in, and no QSB. It's pleasant to have a conversation without having to strain your ears or fade in and out. Now, another thing that I've done, and I know I could probably do this if I bought a 7610 too, is I'll take my 7100. And I have a long wire antenna on it, and I will tune it up on the same frequency as my 7300, and I will listen when somebody comes back to me, and if there's a QSB going on, I find that I can hear the conversation even at the where it's at the bottom of the peaking because of the phasing. So it's like diversity in a sense.
KC9VKV.
Go ahead, station. Go ahead, station. I'm sorry, I thought there was another station in there. Well, Roger on that. Just be sure you should run a mute relay in that second receiver antenna in. So I guess with 100 watts you may not have much of a problem, but it's it's amazing how much RF you can accumulate on an antenna when you have another antenna transmitting in the vicinity, and whether it's going in the same direction as far as orientation or not, it still can pick up quite a bit of RF. So I think MFJ makes a mute relay that you can hook to your key and mute that antenna when you transmit. Roger.
KE9ND.
Oh, there's another station, KD9ND. I'll hand it to you in a second. Jim, I do that. I build a relay that basically shorts when I transmit on the 7300, and so the other receiver doesn't get overloaded. That other station, go ahead. This is KI8A.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. The call is KE9ND. My name is Ken, and I'm in Northwest Indiana. Just got this radio back together, and heard you guys in there. You're quite loud, both of you, and just want to make sure that this thing was getting out. You copy? Copy okay?
Roger, yeah. This is KC9VKV. Got a good copy. Audio sounds good. Probably might crank a little more top end EQ up, maybe +2 clicks boost treble EQ from where you are, just for a little articulation boost. Roger.
Yeah, okay. Let me see. Where is my EQ? Let me see where it's sitting at. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I can move it up a little bit, I guess. Yeah, there's up a little bit more, but yeah. Anyway, just wanted to see how this thing was doing, and just want to make sure it was getting out. Like I said, I just got it back together, and looks good on the meters, but just want to check on the air.
Well, you sound good here, Ken. In southwest or southeast Michigan, I had to think where I was, but sounds real good.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'll let you guys get back to it, and I'll start cleaning up here. And thanks again for the input. This is KE9ND. I'll be clear.
K8ALH.
Other station calling. Go ahead.
Yeah, Jim. The name here is Alpha Lima. The call is K8 Alpha Lima Hotel. K8 Alpha. Cleaned out and put back together an MC60 microphone, and I'm wondering if you're still doing some audio reports. Over.
It's fairly low active, not much at top end. You might take your treble EQ on up there about 3 or 4 clicks for balance. Roger.
Alrighty, I was currently on user-defined equalizer setting, and now this is high boost 1, high boost 1, and here is high boost 2, high boost 2. Neither are with processor, and the radio is a 590 sugar golf with an end-fed long wire. Over.
Roger. High boost 2 for sure, and make sure you're in the 100 to 2900 bandpass. 100 to 2900 bandpass. Roger.
All right, Roger. Well, actually, I'm a little bit higher. I'm 100 to 3000 currently.
Roger. Close enough. Close enough. No need to run those radios in less than 100 to 2900. Roger.
Roger. Now I'm going to try the processor for poops and giggles here. All right, now I'm currently with the processor on. K8ALH.
Roger. Suggest running that processor at a 3. Processor on and at a 3. And once you get your compressor on and at a 3, then move to your ALC with mic gain in hand and adjust your ALC for mid-scale to 2/3 operation. Mid-scale to 2/3 ALC by mic gain manipulation. And that's, when you get the ALC up and you're in transmit, you have to speak fairly rapidly, 100, 200, 300, to get that ALC meter up to be able to read where it is. Roger. You can't go 1, 2, 3 because the meter never gets up where it needs, so you can read it.
Hey, Roger. Well, actually, the processor ALC is a little bit beyond half scale. I'm going to turn it down a little bit to get to maximum ALC. Maximum ALC on the scale, 3 bars midway, is right about here at 34. Over.
Roger. Well, we suggest running mid-scale to 2/3. Mid-scale to 2/3, slightly over mid-scale. Roger. That gives you a 3 dB dynamic range.
Okay, well right now I'm at mid-scale, processor 34 output. I'll click it back up. Processor up to 40, 50. 50 processor, about 2/3. Over.
Yes, that's good. Now, what kind of mic are you running?
MC60, Kenwood MC60, without the power amplifier is off currently.
Roger. That's a desk mic, is that a Roger?
That's correct. Over.
Getting just a little bit of transient pops and stuff. You should work that mic about 4 inches back. About 4 inches back, Roger.
Okay, I'm about a hand width back, about another inch further away. Over.
Yes, sir. Now go back to your ALC and verify mid-scale to 2/3, because now you're working differently than where you were, so you probably need to boost your mic gain a little bit to re-achieve the mid-scale to 2/3 operation, Roger.
Okay, Roger that. Well, it looks like it's about 2/3 still. Still popping at 2/3 peak.
Roger, yeah, and you're sounding cleaner, and I think that your EQ pattern is a little bit better now that you've backed off mic just a tad. You know, there's a thing called proximity effect, and as you get closer to the microphone, you have a bass build-up. So you backed off a little bit, and so your balance now is more balanced as opposed to being on the bottom end heavy side.
Roger. Okay, well, right now processor is on. I'm 4.5 inches away from the mic. Processor sitting has not been touched. I'm going to turn off the processor one time and get back over to the EQ setting and see if there's much of a difference there, Jim. Okay, processor off. EQ is off. Now I'll put the EQ back on. EQ on high boost 1, high boost 1, high boost 2, high boost 2. And user defined. Mic gain currently is at 60 on the mic gain, user defined. How copy?
Roger, you have a 3 dB dynamic range. You want to be in the max treble boost EQ position. I'm not sure what you were saying, high boost 1 or 2, but you want maximum top end boost, Roger?
Okay, Roger. Well, here is high boost 1, and I'm not sure if high boost 1 is higher than 2. And here is high boost 2, high boost 2, high boost 1, high boost 1. Mic gain, I think, is still at 60. Over.
Roger. I would go with high boost 2. I think that's the thing. It sounded there wasn't a major difference between the two, but I think high boost 2 did have a slightly more top end EQ than the other. Roger.
Okay, Roger that. Now, mic gain is currently at 60. Mic gain at 60. I'll take it up to 70. Mic gain now is at 70, and I'm curious, Jim, what sounds better, the high boost 1 with the equalizer or no equalizer with the processor? Over.
Oh, you need both. Our setup calls for the compressor on and at a 3, and then the main thing is not your mic gain per se, but how the mic gain affects your ALC. And you want the ALC to read mid-scale to 2/3, and that's the important reading, not your mic gain per se. Roger?
Okay, Roger that. Yep, very high on the ALC. I'll back the mic gain down and see what happens there. Mic gain coming down, way down. Boy, oh boy, ALC, okay. Half scale, 2/3. Right now, mic gain at 10. Over.
Roger. Okay, just be sure you know that you're running that ALC at mid-scale, because that tells you mid-scale to 2/3 gives you a 3 dB dynamic range, which means that your transmitter is reaching its maximum capability as far as RF output. Roger.
Yep, copy that. Very good. Well, I'm curious, Jim, was this all being recorded so I can check it out later? Over.
Roger, it is and has been. And what was the call sign again, slowly, phonetically?
All right, Jim, the call again is Kilo 8 Alpha Lima Hotel. King 8 Alpha Lima Hotel.
Roger, Alpha Lima Hotel. Yes, it will. And what you need to do is go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, along with today's date, 10/25/21, will take you directly to this recording, and we'll have it up there in probably a couple of hours. Roger.
All right, Jim. Well, I greatly appreciate it. I'll definitely be checking that out. Maybe perhaps later I'll try out a headset that I acquired as well. So you never know what you get out of swaps and gifted material and whatnot. So maybe the INRAD W1 might have better results. KC9VKV, K8ALH.
Roger. What's the name and your location and your radio, sir?
name again is Alpha Lima, and the radio was Kenwood CF590 Sugar Golf.
590 Sugar Golf, Roger.
QSO.
And your location?
My location is in Berkeley, Michigan, 12 miles north of Detroit, 13 miles north of Windsor, Canada.
Roger, out. And double check your ALC now. It looks like your dynamic range has fallen back to you know, maybe 6 or 7 dB. It should be about 3. So double check to be sure that you're reading that ALC meter correctly. And we're looking for mid-scale to 2/3. Roger.
Yeah, copy that. Well, right now, the ALC is on, and it is showing mid-scale to 2/3, and the mic gain is at 17 on the mic gain. Now, I have not tried putting the amplifier on MC60, the amplifier on the bottom. I wonder if you recommend using that or even trying it.
Is that an external power amp?
No, negative. It's on board.
Well, I don't know what it does. You know, is it a RF amplifier or what is it?
Well, actually, it looks like it was on. So now it's with the amplifier off on the mic. No amplifier, over.
Oh, Roger. Okay. Again, recommend that compressor be on and at a 3. Compressor on and at a 3. Then move to your ALC with mic gain in hand. And as you speak fairly rapidly, 100, 200, 300, adjust that ALC to mid-scale to 2/3 by mic gain control. Roger.
Okay, roger that. Processor is back on. ALC is mid-scale to 2/3. Mid-scale to 2/3. No amplification on the mic. Amp off. Over.
Yes, sir. Now that looked really perfect. That looked perfect right there. So what you need to do is work that microphone exactly the way you did it just there. You know, work that mic. You know, you have to pay attention that you work that mic consistently so your audio is consistent. And I would suggest that you run with your ALC meter on so you can see exactly what's going on when you're, you know, when you're transmitting with your audio, and you'll develop an association between the meter where it is and what you're doing with your voice, all to maximize your audio capabilities. Roger?
Oh, roger that there, Jim. Very good. I'm curious. My input is very low on my processor. I'm going to try to get my compression up to 10 dB. 10 dB. See if I can get up to 10 dB. All right, my processor is just about at 10 dB. 10 dB processor. How copy?
Yeah, you don't want to do that. You want to keep your if your processor has a control of 1 to 10, you want to put it on a 3. If it's 1 to 100, you want to put it on 30. You only want to use about a third of your compressor capability. Past that, it doesn't really do you any good. It just blurs, if anything. So just a third of that compressor capability, which would be a 3 out of 10, and then adjust your mic gain to get that ALC reading mid-scale to 2/3. You do that, you'll be at a 3 dB dynamic range, which will be maxed out on your transmitter with a nice, clean, loud audio. No blurring, no craziness, just nice and loud. Roger?
Okay, Jim. Well, I did reduce it back down to 32, 1/3 scale. It is 1 to 100 on the processor input scale. Right now, the processor output is at 50%, and my ALC is a little bit beyond half scale, almost to 2/3 on high syllables. Not quite. Maybe I can get a little bit more processor. All right, I got the processor output now up to 55, Jim, over.
Yes, sir. No, what you want to do is leave that processor at a 3, and if anything, bring up your mic gain a little bit hotter. but leave that processor at 3. It doesn't do you any good to exceed that, because you just start, it recovers between words, which doesn't do you any good. You need, a 3 or a 30, 30 out of 100, 3 out of 10, and that would be perfect for that processor, Roger. And if you need more gain to get the AOC up, then just use your mic gain, Roger.
Oh, Roger, that's exactly what I did. Left the input processor at 30, 1/3 gain, or 1/3 availability from 1 to 100. I'm at 32, but right now I'm on the output, and the mic gain is at 55, and the ALC is just peaking the 2/3 scale. Over.
Yes, sir. That's it right there. You got it going on, buddy. Get the Gorilla Tape out and taper it out. You might do a little boost on your top-end audio, Roger. A little EQ boost, maybe 2 clicks, additional treble EQ from where you were. I really like a well-enunciated audio signal. They're easy to understand, and the better you are to be understood, the better your capabilities as far as communication.
Okay, Jim, well, I did turn on a little bit of boost, a little bit of high gain, rather, a little bit of high on the equalizer, user-defined setting. I have 5 variables plus the high boost 1 and 2. So here is slight EQ equalization, Jim. Any change?
But do you have a bottom end? Do you have some bottom you could put in there now? Maybe 2 clicks bottom end?
I'd have to go back into the software on the computer and start playing around with the parametric equalizer.
You don't want to do that. You're close enough, buddy. Good sound. And what I would suggest is that you get a windscreen, a foam windscreen for the microphone to take care of any plosives that may come down the road. Roger?
Okay, actually, I think I have one in the other music studio room over here on the other side of the wall.
Yes, sir. A nice foam windscreen fits right over that mic and just takes out all of the bad stuff that you don't want to transmit, Roger.
Gotcha on that, Jim, and I have a lot of bad stuff. Over.
Roger. Well, certain microphones are more conducive to plosives and, disturbances other than just the words. So you run a foam windscreen and only the words pass through, Roger.
That's good. That's all that I want anyone to hear. Let alone the background noise and maybe a couple of the wolf pack in the shack as well. So, all right, Jim, well, I greatly appreciate all the help, and I'm going to leave it right where it's at, make notes as to where all the settings are, and I'm going to look forward to hearing it on YouTube later. KC9VKV, K8ALH.
Roger, Al 73, sir, and like I say, we'll probably have this up in a couple of hours. If lunch doesn't get in the way. Hopefully lunch won't, and I'll be able to get this done before then. So 73, sir, have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. And if you get a chance, join us Friday afternoon between 3:30 and 5 on our regular QSO-VLOG net on this frequency.
Oh, it sounds great, Jim, and thank you very much for the hospitality and all the help. I'm looking forward to hearing it. KC9VKV, K8ALH, 73, Jim.
Roger. Ron, are you still there, sir?
Oh, yeah, I'm just listening. By the way, in the meantime, I backed my compressor down a couple notches just listening to you talk to Al there. So I don't know if it changed my audio much at all. Go ahead.
A little more pleasing, sir. That's the thing. 3 dB is a very, well, if we start with the fact that unprocessed audio is 10 dB dynamic range, and if that were to be transmitted unprocessed, a 10 dB audio signal would be about 30% of average peak modulation. So, with all the stuff that's going on, we want to fatten that signal up. So instead of 10 dB, we want to pull that down to only a 3 dB excursion. So we're fattening it up for a transmit. So in order to get 3 dB dynamic range, we need that mic compressor on at a 3, and then the ALC set to mid-scale to 2/3 by mic gain control, and that will put you right at the 3 dB dynamic range point, which is maxed out for your transmitter, and your audio has got a little bit of swing to it, so you can, the words are nice and clear, and not strained or just up against the wall sounding. Roger?
Yeah, I get it. And by the way, my ALC is right mid-range to to 2/3, so it's riding right in there. And I backed down I got the compressor set at 3 and the mic gain set at 22% right now. So I don't know, is this any better?
Oh yeah, just beautiful. I would leave it right there. And again, the actual mic gain is not important. It's how the mic gain affects your ALC. The ALC reading is the important one, and we want to run that always at mid-scale to 2/3. And like when we change microphones or whatever, we always want to go back to the ALC to be sure we're running mid-scale to 2/3, because a lot of different microphones have different audio output levels, and so we just can't assume that when we switch mics everything's going to be the same, and that's all we have to do is switch mics. We need to go back to the ALC to be sure that we're running mid-scale to 2/3. ALC is the Bible for your radio.
Oh yeah, there's no question about it. That's exactly where I'm at right now, is mid to 2/3. So I wasn't running much higher than that before, but I did back the compressor down a bit. So I realized I had it at a 5 as opposed to a 3, so I took it to a 3. And at any rate, it should make the radio happy, and hopefully my audio is good right now.
Roger. Now you have some external processing stuff on your mic chain. Is that a Roger?
No, nothing external. This is directly into the radio. Of course, now there's inside the radio, I can drill into it, and I can change the mid-range and the treble and all that other kind of stuff on both the transmit and the receive.
Roger. Now, that's a power mic, Roger?
You know what? I don't know if it is or not. It's the stock mic that comes with the thing. I have no idea if it's powered or not. I assume it is.
Roger. Well, it could be getting a phantom power from the audio. The thing is, what's your mic level, your internal mic level control? What's it sitting on?
22% right now.
That's fine. Sometimes, you get power mics, and you get that level rolling off the power mic, and you wind up with your internal mic gain down around 10 or 7 or something, and that's too hot, because what's happening, you stand the chance of overloading the front end sensitivity of your mic input level. So you want to be at least at 20, 25, 30, somewhere in there. And if you have an output control on your microphone that you're using, you might turn that down to where your normal level then would be 20 to 30% on the internal mic gain. Roger?
Yeah, there is no output control on the microphone as per se. It's an HM219, whatever that is. I'll look it up real quick. I don't think there's any particular adjustment. Everything's in the radio to adjust. Yeah, like I said, I've never really paid a whole lot of attention to it, so let me see, what did I say that was? That's a 219. Let me look it up here real quick.
Whiskey 8 Romeo Bravo Victor.
Bravo Victor. Go ahead.
Yeah, Roger, Jim. Just this is Ray. Talked to you on the 10th. Looked at the video and etc. And while he's looking up that information, I thought I'd just jump in and say hi.
Roger. Ray, what's the call again?
Whiskey 8 Romeo Bravo Victor. We spoke on the 10th of October.
Roger. Sounded really good there. Your compressor on at a 3 and your mid-scale to 2/3 on the ALC?
Well, yeah, my ALC is a little heavy at the moment, though. I probably can back that off.
Yes, sir. Mid-scale to 2/3 is when you pass that, you're condensing your dynamic range past 3 dB. You're down there around 2.5, 2 dB, and you start to your words start to blur. So with mid-scale to 2/3, your words are nice and clear and loud.
Roger that. Well, it's a little bit colder than it was a few minutes ago, and I probably was sitting on the mic too close. I have a habit of being close.
Nothing wrong with being close, but what you want to do is stay in communication with your ALC. You can work that microphone at any place you can, provided you don't pick up a lot of transients from mouth noise, But the input level, you can do whatever you want, provided that your ALC level is mid-scale to 2/3. So, the closer you get, you just turn your mic down just a little bit, to keep that ALC in line. Roger?
Roger that. And I haven't got my cover yet. I heard you talking about that, and going to have to go up to my friendly Myers, I think, and see if they got any covers up there.
Well, you're doing real well. I don't hear any of that. But, even occasionally, you can just take care of the whole ball of wax there with that foam windscreen.
Yeah, roger that. Yeah, we worked the other day, and we went through the settings, so should be sounding pretty good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I always love good sounding transmitters. What is the radio that you're running, sir?
Hey, Jim, this is Rod. I got to run real quick. I got somebody here. This is KI8A.
Roger, Ron. I'll have this posted in a couple of hours. KC9VKV on a YouTube search with 10/25/21 date on the search.
I got the web pages up with your files. So thank you much. KI8A cleared, 73. Nice making your acquaintance.
Roger, likewise, 73.
Yeah, Roger, this is Ray again, W8RBV. And I don't know where it's going with conversation, to tell you the truth. But we talked, and everything looks pretty good. And I do need to get the cover. And, I wanted to say, I'm a senior citizen here at the 81, so things get out of my head pretty quick. But anyhow, what I was going to say, we tried a vertical last time we talked. I'm on the wire at the moment. I was on the wire when I talked to you on the 10th. And when I come back on the vertical, I had nothing to you. So I called you earlier, maybe half an hour ago or so, and I was on the vertical and you didn't come back, so I assumed that I wasn't getting out and went to the wire. W8RBV.
Roger. Ray, you want to try to go to vertical now?
Well, I could. I'd probably have to tune it. That's one of the things I've found necessary when I change the antennas. The wire and the vertical don't match the SWR.
Yes, sir, I understand. Well, the thing I found about the vertical is it seldom is better than any of my other antennas. It is my least efficient, it seems to be my least efficient antenna. My dipole and my 3 10-foot vertical magnetic loops are always hotter than my vertical. Roger?
Oh, roger that. Yeah, I was yesterday trying to work some DX. I had stations in Italy. Let's see, where else? I don't remember for sure. But I was trying to get in contact with several stations on the vertical. And somebody there, when we had QSO back on the 10th, indicated vertical would be better on DX. But I wasn't finding that I was doing anything on the vertical on the DX end.
Yes, sir. Well, vertical is used in local communications a lot because, most mobile vehicles use whips and antennas like that, which are vertically polarized radiators. And so if, a guy's using a horizontal, he's going to lose, 5 dB off the top or so. But if he goes to his vertical, that mobile will probably sound better. And that's one of the few instances, I think, where a vertical antenna will usually exceed better than a horizontal dipole or long wire or whatever. Roger?
Yeah, roger that. Well, my wire's working pretty good. I've got it's an Alpha Delta DXCC given to me by a friend, and I can't tell you his call sign, but he's a man that runs the Dara ham benching here in Dayton for the last couple of years. Jack Gerb, I think's his name. Met him on 440 frequencies, and he offered me the antenna because I was wavering on whether I wanted to try a wire or not due to my real estate size mainly. But the Alpha Delta is, my memory says 92 feet center fed, and that got me out of my pine tree to my mask on my antenna for the low band, or the VHF UHF back to my chimney. So I went and got that antenna. He said I could have it. He had 3 of them. He likes them. But anyhow, the wire seems to work pretty good no matter what. I generally can get into pile-ups in the States here, speaking, but it's working pretty fine.
Roger, Ray, I've just been copying your audio there, looking at it real close on my view meter, and you're just perfect there. Nice 3 dB dynamic range, and couldn't be better. So if you didn't put the Gorilla Tape on it, get some Gorilla Tape and tape her down.
Hey, she's taped down. We talked the other day. You said it was sounding pretty good. You mentioned the high end a little bit. So I went in and kicked that up a little bit, and everything's where you told me to put it, so I'm hoping it's sounding good.
Yes, sir, just excellent. And you know we have been recording, so I would love for you to be able to hear your audio. If you go to YouTube and do a call it a search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, along with today's date 10/25/21, that will take you to this recording. Roger?
Roger that. I did check the last recording. In fact, I told the wife, I said, here, come on over to the computer and we'll pull that up and you can hear what me sounds like. So she said, well, you sound different on the radio. Well, we've been married 59 years, I'm sorry. It'll be 60 coming next year in June. And so at any rate, she got to hear me on the radio. She said, well, you didn't sound too bad. She was wondering if I sounded professional enough. So there you go.
Oh, yes, certainly. You know, just sound beautiful. Sound human. I mean, that's the whole point, to be able to sound like you sound. And that's what your radio is doing right now. And when you listen back to this, I think you'll hear that. You know, it's very, very clear, and it doesn't sound like it's being processed at all, but it is, but it doesn't sound that way. And that's what we try to do in our setup, you know, we want to use a little finesse in our technical setup. Roger?
Yeah, roger that. And yeah, I'm happy to have met up with you and got this thing straightened out a little bit and sounding good. And I'll tell you, I was off the air for a number of years, and I started out back in the 72, 74 era, and got my general ticket, and I don't remember when. It might have been 74. Started out as a tech. Neighbor was into the ham thing, and he said, oh, you can get a tech license, and I'll teach you to code here in about an hour, and that's what we did. I'm a retired engineer, so electronics was okay, and so there you go on that one. But at any rate, you know, back in that day, we sounded sidebandish, and I was really surprised the quality of the radios today. And this 7300 I chose is in the 21st century. So far, I like it real well, and I know it can do a lot more than I'm doing with it right now, but that's because of computers.
Roger. The thing about it is, sideband radios can sound every bit as good as FM 2-meter radios, provided that they're on frequency is the first thing. And, you know, because you can be slightly off frequency on sideband, and it starts to slur either on the bass side or on the treble side, but you can hear it. And it no longer sounds just absolutely perfect, you know. So that's the beauty about those 7300s. They're usually rock solid on the frequency, and you know, you can't. If you were to take that audio and just set that audio out and let somebody hear it, they would be hard-pressed to say, hey, that's HF or that's VHF, you know, and that's what we want. Our HF radios can sound as nice as wideband VHF if, you know, we take particular care in the setup. Roger?
Yeah, roger that. I was pretty much amazed at the quality audio today in the new radios. I told my friend, and unfortunately he's passed away now just this year, but I don't know if you've heard AB8K on the band or not, but he ran the friendship net on 2 meters and run the prayer net thereafter. So I don't know if any of that you listen to or not. But at any rate, we're really pleased with today's radios.
Yes, sir. Well, we're going to have to jump out of here to be able to get this processed and get it timely on YouTube. And Ray, where are you located, sir?
Well, I'm located there in the land of the Hamvention, Dayton, Ohio.
Roger, but you're 8 land, Roger?
Yes, sir, that's 8 land, Whiskey 8.
Well, you be proud of me, man. I've been having you on the right blinking light, Region 8, since the beginning of our QSO. So you might take a look at our RF Region Detector. It's a new thing. That is a map of the U.S. and it's got laid out in regions, ham regions that are associated with the call signs, and it's flux tuned. So there you go. Well, Ray, let me say 73 to you, sir. We'll press on here and get this uploaded. Really enjoyed the QSO, just absolutely perfect. Tape it down and don't change a thing. Roger?
Roger that, and I know your time's short on getting things done in a orderly manner, and I know you got the net coming up this afternoon, so I'm going to let you go. I just wanted to say hi, believe it or not. I guess ham radio operators like to talk. 73, Jim, and pleasure talking at you. W8RBV clear with KC9VKV.
Roger, Ray. Yeah, there'll be Friday before we're on the air. We're just running a little test here to be able to look at our video, make sure our map is properly illuminated and the LED lights are not too bright. We're trying to make them look like audio or FM or actually sideband excursions across the country. Well, it's a long story. You'll have to see it. Anyway, we got to get out of here. So 73, Ray, we'll catch you later, sir. This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor. Be clear.
Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, Kilowatt Yankee 4, Hotel Tango.
Hotel Tango station, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign.
Kilowatt Yankee 4, Hotel Tango, over.
Hotel Tango, is that Roger?
QSL.
Roger. So, and what's the name?
The name is Dennis, Delta, Echo, November, India, Sierra, over.
Roger, Dennis. And what radio and where are you located, sir?
My radio be Dre TR4C, talking on a 444 sure mic, like UTH, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, over.
Missed your address. Try location again.
Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Roger. Copy, Tennessee. Is that a Roger?
QSL.
All right. And have we talked before?
Yes, sir. I believe we have talked before, though.
Roger. Just curious, your audio could be a little fatter, so you let's see, the TR4C doesn't have a compressor, so, and you don't have an outboard compressor for that, Roger?
Oh my. Roger, I don't have nothing for it.
Except a key finger, Roger.
QSL.
Yeah, Roger that. Now, TR4C doesn't even have a ALC meter. You just go till it doesn't do anything more. Is that right?
You're exactly right. It's just what it is. It's just an old antique Drake TR4C.
Just out of curiosity, do you have your mic gain right there? What are you reading on your mic gain?
I have my mic gain sitting at about 12 o'clock, though.
All right. Just out of curiosity, if you were to bring that up to 3 o'clock and let me listen to it for you.
Okay, I just moved it up to 3 o'clock right there.
All right. Take it to 4 o'clock.
All right, it's sitting right at 4 o'clock.
Oh boy, sounding pretty good. Why don't you tell me about your antenna system in about 10 or 15 seconds?
Okay, my antenna system is a G5RV there. About 30 feet up in the air there. Stretched out at a 45-degree angle, Elvin.
Roger. Well, gosh, Dennis, I think you can run at that level, sir. It sounded clear, clean. It doesn't sound up against the wall. Doesn't sound pushed or nothing. Just louder, Roger.
Yeah, Roger, on that. I appreciate it. Like I said, I had this Drake reworked, and he went in and cleaned it and realigned everything now.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I would run it. I would run it at that level. Sounds really good.
Okay, thank you, Jim. I really appreciate it. I just heard you in there. I didn't even have to wait on the call sign. I knew who it was, because your audio is always the same.
Well, thank you very much, Dennis. And let's see here. I'm trying to think if we need anything else there. You're down in Tennessee, Roger?
Yes, I'll be in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, though.
Roger, Roger. All right. Well, I'm going to post this thing in a couple of hours, and I'll try to have your call sign there. But if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by today's date 10/25/21, it will take you to this recording. Roger.
QSL, I really appreciate it, James.
Roger, Roger, sir. 73, and you have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend as it comes along. We're trying to, like I say, prepare for Friday. We'll catch you later. This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor. Clear?
73.
Alpha Bravo 8, Papa Radio.
Kilo Charlie 8.
Papa Radio, go ahead. Papa Radio, go ahead.
Yeah, Alpha Bravo 8, Papa Radio. How do you copy?
Loud. Very good. Give me that call sign slowly, phonetically.
Yeah, Alpha Bravo 8, Papa Radio. Here in Michigan, in Sylvan Lake, Michigan, about 10 miles northwest of Detroit. Go ahead. Name here's Phil, Papa Henry, India Lima.
Roger, Roger, Phil. What's the radio?
It's an FT991A. I'm running it through a stepper urban beam, which I just put up less than 2 weeks ago, and having a blast with it.
All right, you might be just a little hot into your ALC. Our setup procedure is compressor on at a 3, token them out, but it does what we need it to do, and then to your ALC with mic gain in hand, and as you speak fairly rapidly, 100, 200, 300, adjust your ALC for mid-scale to 2/3.
Okay, very good. Try that here. 100, 200, 300, that's running about half. Right now I just lowered the mic gain. Is that better?
Yes, sir. We have some poor soul tuning up on the frequency. I don't know why that happens, but they do that. Yeah. Why don't you give me about 10 seconds and tell me about your antenna system? Let me listen to you now.
Okay, very good. Like I said, it's a stepper Urban Beam. It's a I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's like looks like a bow tie is the best description I can think of, and it runs as a dipole on 40 and 30 meters and a Yagi on all the others, so it covers 6 through 40. Go ahead.
Roger, Phil. Sounds really good now. Sounds nice, clean, and loud. You got a little bit of dynamic range in your audio, about 3 dB, which is ideal, Roger.
Yeah, very good, very good. Yeah, I'm using a Heil HM10, which I acquired from a friend of mine who became a silent key last year, and so it has sentimental value. And I've heard it sounds pretty good, so I'll be looking forward to listening to your recordings so I can hear myself.
Yes, sir. Your frequency response, it really looks good. It's well across the band, kind of rolling down at the bottom end, not too much at 100 cycles. Looks like it's rolling out maybe at 250, somewhere in there, but very, very nice and intelligible. That's the main thing, and it's comfortable to listen to. Oh,
very good, very good. And what are you running over there?
Oh, well, gosh, this is older Yaesu FT990. It's about a 35-year-old radio, but it's been pretty highly modified, receive and transmit, Roger.
All right, well, it also sounds extremely good, and sounds good. So I did look up your YouTube there, and you said it'll be posted later today, so I will check it out.
Yes, sir. Probably in the next couple of hours, if I have any luck and the creeks don't rise. Trying to figure out where it's 12:30. Yeah, I'll get on this and see if I can get it uploaded. Anyway, if you go to YouTube, do a call letter search KC9VKV along with today's date 10/25/21. That'll bring this one up. It'll say test 10/25/21, and hopefully I'll have enough room to get everybody's call sign in the title.
Okay, very good. Yeah, I've talked with another gentleman who does a live YouTube stream, W7HU, Alex down in Florida. I don't know if you're familiar with him. And I've had a lot of QSOs with him, and he even helped me promote search for a kidney because I was in kidney failure. So it was a great thing to use the YouTube and everything else.
Roger, I hope you were successful.
Yes, I did receive a new kidney back in May. Isn't
that amazing? Congratulations, sir. Thanks for checking in. I got to get out of here. Good to hear you.
Okay, very good. It wasn't through the ham radio community, but it was still great that they reached out and tried to help me. So, 73, and okay, your name is Jim, I guess, James. 73. Hey, this is AB8PR in Michigan.
Roger, 73, sir. Catch you later. It's KC9VKV. We are clear.
Kilo Charlie 8, Mike Golf Alpha.
Yeah, sorry, you guys. I got to get out of here. I appreciate it. Join us Friday. We do a QSO-VLOG net on this frequency from 3:30 till 5. So join us on Friday afternoons. Roger?
Okay, I don't know if you're talking to me or not, but anyway, sounding good in Kentucky. This is Kilo Charlie 8, Mike Golf Alpha, 73.
Mike Golf Alpha, just before I go, sir, you are really heavy in the bottom end. I would suggest rolling off your bass 3 clicks at least on the bottom end of your audio EQ. Roger?
Well, I'm this is a 7300, and I'll have to get my book out to change that. But anyway, I'm just running the radio through a outside and vertical antenna.
Yes, sir. Yeah, at least 3 to 4 clicks bottom end roll off, bass roll, 3 to 4 clicks, and that'll put you probably in a pretty good stead there. And that 7300 is really good. It only has a 2-band EQ, a bass and treble. So when you get there, you want to go transmit SSB and roll 3 clicks bottom end bass out.
Okay, I will do that, and hopefully maybe catch you the next time, and you can. I'll try to listen to the recording. Over.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 73, sir. And catch you later. It's KC9VKV. Clear now.